Welcome back to the Ohio Podcast Show. We are your favorite butt chuggers, Nick and Rob.
We like to think we are.
Nicolicious. The delicious Nicolicious.
And the always spunky Rob Dog.
People keep on calling us by our nicknames, man.
Hey, I'll take it.
I don't know. People, I'm out in public, like, are you Nicolicious? I'm like, yeah, that's never happened.
I don't say that happen often.
My wife was cornered at a gas station by a guy.
Yeah.
He's like, you listen to them? She's like, no! And she hit him with the mace. Because I got the bumper stickers on the car.
Hell no, I don't.
No, she said he was a super nice guy. So whoever you are that cornered my wife at Speedway,
What's up?
thanks for not grabbing a hold of them huge hooters. Those are mine. This episode is brought to you in part by our Patreon subscribers.
Thank you very much.
Laura Sadowski, thank you. Well, Laura's she was a PayPal donation like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
I keep on forgetting to put it on here. Laura, I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Laura.
I would like to take you out for a nice spaghetti dinner sometime.
Ooh.
Something fancy, some ragu, old world style.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
We're not going to turn our phones down today because we are not above professionalism. I'll let you grab that next one there.
Next on our list we got here is Miss Candace Autry. Autry or Autry? I don't know.
Chris Daughtry,
Chris Daughtry?
the singer from American Idol.
All right.
And we have a Patreon pledge from Kaylin. Thank you, Kaylin.
Thank you, Kaylin. And we got Ryan Smith as well. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
And Kirsten Chan. Thank you, Mrs. Chan. Ms. Chan.
Miss Chan. And then we got Drew the Venus Mantrap.
He was signed up as that's his name, Drew the Venus Mantrap.
Thank you.
I'd like to see what you're working with. Let me know. And then one of our favorite dudes, he's been listening since the beginning, man. This
Super
is
solid, dude.
Bernie Nunez. He became a Patreon subscriber in my sleep last night.
Oh.
And it just so happens I was having a dream about making love to him in an ambulance.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
He's a paramedic. He was like, "How would you like your shot of penicillin?" And I'm like, "Oh, I would." And then my phone rang, and I woke up, and it was a Patreon pledge from old Bernie.
Man,
we were feeling the burn this morning.
We were. Next is Timothy Adams.
Thank you, Timothy.
Thank you very much.
And if you would like to join our Patreon club, we are welcoming all of you to come find us at patreon.com/Brohio Podcast. For our $5 club, you get the Bro Talk, which is our premium show. I mean, this is the premium show you're listening to, but Bro Talk is just a winging it, dinging it,
and
singing
slinging
it.
it.
Yeah. And we just call our Patreon people on the Facebook Messenger, and we bring them in for interviews, and we talk to everybody. You guys are made famous.
Yeah.
Your lives will change forever.
And it's just us with stupid banter pretty much the entire time.
Yeah. And the $20 club, you get a free t-shirt, which we just got in a whole shipment of t-shirts. So if you're waiting on your t-shirts, those will probably be coming soon. And then for the $50 club, you can join that club, and you'll get to have your own episode. You pick the topic, you get to come on the show for an interview like Julie Ho last week. It's an awesome, good time. And if you're close enough, you come sit here with us like Kevin Baxley did.
Hey.
Sit on our laps.
Yeah.
Take a little lap nap.
We're not above it.
Yeah. And we got a new shirt design up at brohiopodcast.threadless.com.
It's pretty sexy.
It is. It's got me and Rob. We're sitting there. We don't look... we're much more handsome in our cartoons, and there's a sexy alien with a butt funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Wilkins back there in the chair. And
JFK slinging drinks.
Yeah, and he's got a Marilyn Monroe shirt on, which is my favorite part of the whole entire thing.
Mine too.
Also, this is going to be a very special episode, Rob.
Yes, it is.
We are covering the Kelly-Hopkinsville incident, which is a really famous alien incident, but it's not a normal
alien.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a normal run-of-the-mill alien story. That's the thing. This is more of like a...
this is a plethora goodie bag of...
It's a spoopy. It's spoopy. I know how much y'all guys like them spoopy stories. Rob, he likes to be spooped all the time.
All the time.
He likes when you would spoop it real hard.
If I'm not spooping my pants, I'm pretty bummed.
Yeah. There's a claw hand in the story. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. There's a shootout.
But we will have an interview for you guys at the end of this episode with someone directly linked to the incident. This incident took place almost 70 years ago. So that's what kind of clout the Brohio guys have now.
Woo, we're making moves.
We had a lot of iTunes reviews this week. A whole bunch of them.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. We had one, this guy said, I think it says in America, you listen to podcasts, but in Brohio, podcasts listen to you. How deep is that?
That's pretty deep.
It's fucking magical.
I like it.
Tell them about our live show, Rob.
Oh, holy shit. We got a live show coming up. It's April 14th. It is at Roosters in Milford, Ohio. This is the Bad Boys of Bomb Pod and Tracy.
There's about 20 tickets left.
Pretty cool.
There's been 20 tickets left, I think. Or maybe there was around 25.
I'll take 10.
But now there's 20. I can't imagine that if you wear underwear this thing, you're going to leave with your underwear still on.
No, we're going to take them.
No chance. And another thing, I don't think they serve Zima, but I am going to put something in my ass, whether it
something
is
or someone.
Something cheesy, smearing off, a Bud Ice lime,
Chicken wing.
a chicken wing.
Hey, we're not above it.
One of your peckers. I don't know. Come and find out. Matt Hirsch, he's a Patreon subscriber. He's going to be there. He's going to get to come talk on the microphone with us for a couple minutes because
hey,
he's the guy that got us for Christmas. His wife got him a Brohio subscription to Christmas for Christmas.
What a disappointment.
Right. Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Merry Christmas.
And one thing I would like to talk about. We started talking about Zima, butt-chugging Zima in our early episodes. They brought Zima back. Okay?
Short-lived.
It didn't last long, just like us in bed. But it came back, all right? But now there's this new movie coming out with John Cena called Cock Blockers or Blockers. I know there's a cock, but there's a viral clip of that video going around where he's
butt-chugging.
He's butt-chugging.
Yep.
I don't want to say Brohio's changing the world, but I think the world is just...
We're adapting.
The world is adapting to Brohio is what is essentially happening here.
We're evolving.
John Cena, if you're listening, I fucking hope you get your dick stomped in at WrestleMania by The Undertaker, but you're more than welcome to come on the show and check us out. I think we have enough room down here, kind of swole, but we'll get you on the show.
And we can figure it out.
We will definitely figure it out. I don't have our normal run-of-the-mill episode or run-of-the-mill article because I got a 911 call to go with this article this week, Rob. This is outstanding. I'm going to read the article first. It says, a Greensboro man claiming to be Jesus Christ said he broke into a Pizza Hut Wednesday morning and called 911 saying he was starving to death. I fucking hate Pizza Hut so much, dude. I really do. Yes, this is Jesus Christ, and I just broke into Pizza Hut. 46-year-old Richard Lee Quintero told dispatchers around 4:30. Jesus is here. He's back to earth. I just broke in and had a pizza. I'm Jesus. Quintero admitted to breaking into a High Point Pizza Hut on North Main Street, saying he ate pizza and drank Mountain Dew.
My man.
Code Red, not even Code Red. He went with the old steady Mountain Dew.
Old Faithful.
When questioned by the 911 dispatcher, Quintero, 46, told dispatchers, because I'm Jesus, I can do whatever I want. And that he's tired of the Judases on this earth. He later said he said he was later starving and everybody's been treating me mean. High Point police said Quintero was cooperative when they arrived and arrested without further incident. Quintero was charged with felony breaking and entering and felony larceny after breaking and entering. He was put in the High Point jail under $1,000 bond, and we have the 911 call for you right now.
High Point 911, what is your emergency? Yes, this is Jesus Christ, and I just broke into the Pizza Hut. I broke the window in. I'm here. Jesus is here now. He's back to earth.
He's so drunk.
All right, and so you don't work there? No, I just broke in, had a pizza. I'm Jesus. And what was your name again? My name's Jesus.
Could hear the alarm in the background.
What's your last name, Jesus? Christ. Okay. And what do you look like? I look like Jesus. What else do I supposed to look like? Why'd you do that?
Like why'd you do
I'm
that? Jesus.
I can do whatever I want. We're tired of Judases on this earth. We're going to clean this earth up.
Oh, man, that's great.
So what are you up to? Man, where do you live at? I don't. I'm from heaven. How'd you get over to the Pizza Hut? I'm from heaven, sir.
Answer the question.
Okay. And did you break a front window? Yeah, I broke the door window, sir. And you eat a pizza? Yeah. Had a Mountain Dew.
Classy.
You gonna stay there for a minute? Yeah. You ain't got any weapons or anything on you, do you? No, I'm not violent, sir. Okay. Just hungry? Yeah, I was starving to death.
Sad.
All right. Everybody's been treating me. I've been beat up in this town. I'm from Indiana.
It's so sad.
You're from Indiana? Yes. Okay. People keep beating me up.
You're from heaven.
Where have you been staying at? Everywhere. I keep getting kicked out of places.
Because you're an asshole.
Breaking into Pizza Hut, stealing their Mountain Dew.
Schizophrenia, sir. Yeah, nobody else is there with you?
You don't say. There you go.
What a class act.
I know.
I like that guy. I just want to let him know if he's listening, Mr. Jesus Christ. You come to our studio, we'll give you a pizza and a Mountain Dew.
Richard Lee Quintero, if you are listening, 46-year-old from High Point, North Carolina.
We'll treat you.
We would love for you to come to the Ohio studios. We will buy you Pizza Hut. We'll one-up you. We'll get you something from around. We'll get you something native to Ohio.
Yeah.
We'll get you some Marion's pizza.
It'll be delicious.
These people don't know about Marion's, do they?
Some of them do, but some of them
not a lot. Not a lot of people. We cut our pizza into squares in Ohio. That's not a big thing.
I don't know. I guess not.
A lot of people don't know that in Ohio we cut our pizza into squares. We don't do slices.
We're weird.
We are weird. We suck at everything. So we are really excited to interview Miss Geraldine. She's got a couple books out. We actually got to interview her in about 15 minutes.
Oh,
but we're going to start the episode.
Get a little bit started here.
This story is about the Kelly-Hopkinsville incident. This is near Kelly, Kentucky, not far from Hopkinsville. And Hopkinsville was the major, it was the major thoroughfare there in that area. So if you lived in Kelly and you needed anything from Hopkinsville, if you needed anything, you went to Hopkinsville for it. I want you to jump in your jet-propelled time machine lawnmower because we're going to Kelly, Kentucky near Hopkinsville. The date is August 21st, 1955. It was hotter than a two-peckered billy goat, Rob.
Oh, okay. I like that.
95 degrees.
Oof.
Because people say, oh, these guys just read off the Wikipedia page. No, I went to historical weather data to check this out, okay? It was 95 fucking degrees. The humidity was through the goddamn roof. It was hot, okay? You have to remember, it's very hot because it has nothing to do with the story. I just wanted you to know how hot it was.
We're painting a picture here.
We are. The story centers around the Sutton family and their friends. Elmer, good old Elmer.
These are some good old-fashioned names.
Yeah. And one thing I just want to get out there, that I've listened to a few interviews conducted by certain people with the lady that we are interviewing, and I've read her book. She's very adamant that Kentuckians, I think I'm saying that right, are not stereotyped as cousin fucking hillbillies. Because they are not. There's a lot of, really famous people from Kentucky.
There is.
They got the Kentucky Derby where the entire world flocks there. They got state-of-the-art medical stuff there. They got two great colleges.
I like Kentucky.
I love Kentucky because you can go there and you can do whatever the fuck you want and you don't get judged for it because it's Kentucky. So we're not stereotyping Kentucky. We're just trying to be funny, okay?
Yeah.
If you are from Kentucky, which we do have some Kentucky listeners.
We do.
Jessica D., our resident cat lawyer, Pretzel Logic on Instagram.
The cat lawyer, I love that.
She's our resident cat lawyer we keep on staff. She's from Kentucky. She's really smart. She's smarter than us. She went to...
She's stronger than us.
She's fucking power lifts. And the only reason I talk nice about her is because I don't want her to hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Elmer Lucky Sutton. Lucky was his middle name. He was in his early 20s during this. He was also... Not to be stereotypical about Kentuckians, he was a carnival worker. He was a carny.
Good old carny.
Hardworking.
Nothing wrong with that.
Just slinging wiffle balls and goldfish and ping pong balls to get shit done, trying to pay the bills.
Swindling people out of their money.
Exactly.
Good man.
But I did read in the book, she said that he would, the lady we were interviewing, she was the daughter of Lucky. And she said that he would take them to the carnivals and he would tell them all the secrets to beat the games.
Nice.
I'm fucking jealous because I waste so much money when I take my kids to the carnival. Now, Lucky, or we're going to call him Lucky for the rest of the episode, not Elmer, because Elmer was the guy that was caught up with the rabbit. He was home. Lucky was home for a few days visiting his mom. His mom's name was Glennie Langford. And Glennie, I'm going to ask Geraldine about Glennie because I want to know more about her. His dad, Lucky's dad, left at a very early age, and he was never part of the picture. He was a bit of an asshole. It was said that he was a raging alcoholic, and he was kind of dead to the family. He just left everyone to fend for themselves and made Glennie take care of everyone all by herself.
And Glennie was she was like the super serious hard ass, wasn't she?
She wasn't really, in the book, she wasn't really portrayed as a hard ass, but she was very religious. She was very God-fearing, and she also believed that, you shouldn't partake in alcohol. So she did not have a party goat. I'm fairly certain she did not own a party goat.
Darn.
But she was a wholesome, loving woman. She, Lucky was home because he loved her cooking so much. He wanted to come home and eat her cooking. Right. Some Kentucky fried chicken. Colonel. Glennie lived in the house with her 3 children that were half brothers and sisters to Lucky. Accompanying Lucky were his 2 friends from the carnival, Billy Ray. Yes, I said Billy Ray. And June Taylor. And the thing about Billy Ray is he went on to have a fucking cunt bag of a daughter named Miley Cyrus. Different Billy Ray, I think.
It's fakes. My grandpa's name's Billy Ray.
Cyrus?
Yes.
Okay. Billy Ray Schmidt.
No.
They had some more family stopover for the visit and stay. His brother, Lucky's brother, JC.
Not Jesus Christ, JC.
No, this could possibly be the same Jesus Christ from Pizza Hut. We're not sure. And his sister-in-law, Aline, plus a family member simply named OP. I love it. I love it so much.
AOP.
Lucky was very excited to be home from the carnival eating his mom's wonderful home cooking. And the night of the incident in question, they had a giant dinner. I don't know what they had, but she cooked a big dinner for all 11 people there. Miss Glennie did. And like I said before, it was hotter than shit. So Billy Ray, he was about to have a heat stroke, okay? Billy Ray was about to die.
Poor Billy Ray.
He went out.
It's always the lovely ones.
Right. He went out to the well to get some water. Because the house that Glennie lived in, it did not have running water, but it did have electricity, just no running water.
Okay.
And this is when the shit takes off, all right? You guys didn't have to wait long. You're 17 minutes in. Thanks for sticking around this far. Go leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. When Billy Ray went to the well, he looked up in the sky and he saw a round metallic object with rainbow-colored streaks trailing behind it. Now, this story kind of differentiates between people thinking it was goblins and between people thinking it was aliens, and we'll get to all that. But this kind of, for me, nails it down. If it was anything, it was some extraterrestrial action, not goblins. I don't think
goblins. I will hope it's goblins.
Yes, I would love a little. Sometimes when I fart, I blame it on the butt goblins.
It's just like a cross, like just to have like an alien hybrid goblin.
Yes,
that'd be.
And as of this recording, I haven't had a bowel movement in 3 days. So please keep me in your thoughts and prayers.
Diet's going great.
Yes, I am on a diet. I've lost 21 pounds in 2 weeks. So if you guys want to learn how to do that, just take a head of lettuce to work and just eat that like an apple.
And don't shit.
Yeah. So when I finally do let it all go, I'm going to be able to start my own like yoga program and get paid for it. So he went out to get the water from the well. He sees the object streak across the sky. So then he busts back through the door to tell the rest of the house. But the thing was that Billy Ray and Lucky had built their friendship kind of based on pranking one another. They were just some good old boys.
Yeah.
Always giving each other a good ribbon. They were obviously together. I would imagine they were together every day for hours upon hours working at the carnival from sun up until sundown. Then probably at night as well. I don't know where carnies lived back then, but I do know they live in trailers now. They take to the carnivals with them, so they're probably staying together and playing cards all night.
You got to pass the time. I mean,
you got to. You're a carny. So
yeah.
They weren't buying Billy Ray's shit. All right, they were chalking it up to a meteor because it was said that night there were some meteor showers in that area. Well, Billy Ray's wife, she saw how serious he was about this, and she saw that he was visibly upset. And her name was June, but she laughed at him and shrugged it off like everybody else.
Yeah, they all just thought he was just messing around.
He said, God damn it, I was outside, man. It was a goddamn sardine can flying through the air and it was on fire. And I told y'all I went out there to get water from the well, but I got a flask. I was out there taking a drink of my flask and I saw this goddamn thing shoot across the sky. And I think we're under attack, which Billy Ray, he may not have known that they actually were under attack.
They really were. Now, from here, this is where Billy Ray convinces Lucky to walk back to the well with him.
I just want to say, if we're not very passionate about this story for the next 20 minutes, it's because we just fucking recorded for half an hour and then my computer just shut off and we had to go back to this point. We're almost done with the episode.
He's so pissed.
I hate this.
He's so pissed.
This is probably the last episode of Ohio ever. Go ahead, Rob. Tell us what happened at the well for the second time.
So Billy Ray convinces Lucky to walk back to the well with him. And this is where he was going to show him in the sky, where he saw the potential craft. So Lucky, of course, he was still thinking that Billy Ray was messing with him. So that he wasn't budging. So he started to think that, maybe something really was happening and he really did see something.
I've seen some big goddamn possums out here before, but I ain't never seen nothing with no goddamn yellow eyes and big horns on them. Not no possums none that I've caught myself personally.
So they finally decided that whatever he had seen, that it was gone. So they were going to head back to the house and they were going to continue their exciting card game. So while on their way back to the house, they stopped, frozen. They were confronted by a glowing object approaching from the woods behind the house. Now, the closer they got, they could see that it appeared as if it was something that wasn't earthly. So it was short, human-like, it had large eyes, 2 legs, and was floating. So it wasn't walking, it was just floating around. That's pretty...
I don't know.
Pretty creepy.
I think a lot of people have chalked this up to bighorn owls before.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the pictures and whatnot. The eyes are kind of the same as, a bighorn owl. But if you shoot a bighorn owl at point blank range with a shotgun or a rifle, the thing's going to explode. They're just going to have just a bird butthole laying there.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a feather bath.
And there's some people that are into bird buttholes. And if you are a listener of if you're a listener of the Ohio podcast show and you're into bird buttholes, please write us. We would like to hear your story. We would like to know about bird buttholes.
How do I even go from there?
I don't know. Try it. Just go. I'm so broken.
Now, when these creatures approached, they had their arms raised in the air like they were surrendering. And these aren't your normal arms. These are big old freakishly long arms that drag the ground.
These are big old monkey arms.
Yeah, they are like E.T. arms.
Yeah. This was Steven Spielberg's inspiration for E.T. was the description of these little fucking turds right here.
So once they saw these creatures, you got Lucky who yelled, "Oh, shit!" and ran back into the house with Billy Ray. So the same time that this incident happened, you have the neighbor that's a quarter mile north who heard the commotion. The neighbor did take notice, that these guys are in the woods. So, who knows what these country folk are doing.
Goddamn Suttons out there in the woods. I think they're possibly out there looking for snipes. They're looking for anything they can find out there to eat. Because that's what we do here in Kentucky. We find stuff in the woods and we eat it.
Yeah, he assumed that they were just looking for their pigs that had gotten loose. And then he heard the barrage of gunshots, and he assumed that they'd found a bobcat.
Now, let me take you through this thought process this guy was going through right here.
Okay, go ahead.
He sees him in the woods. He says, "Oh, man, the goddamn pigs got loose." Then he hears a gunshot. "Oh, man, they got a goddamn bob kitty out there. You gotta be careful for these bob kitties. They'll get up there and they'll snatch your dog off your porch. and eat it. If you're not real careful, the Bob Kitty will come in there and take a big old steamy piss inside your house, and you won't be able to get that smell out for long. You got to burn the goddamn house down anytime a Bob Kitty comes in there and takes a shit, piss in your house. There's only one kind of cat around here that's worse than a Bob Kitty. That's a shitty kitty.
Aw.
A waffle stomping shitty kitty.
I love the term Bob Kitty. I think I'm only going to refer to him as that from now on.
That's what I'm going to use next year when my wife gets intimate with me. I'm going to say, show me your Bob Kitty. See what it does for me. See if it gets me in there like
hey, it might work. That's pretty hot. So by the time the guys got back inside the house, they're trying to tell everyone, what the fuck just happened.
Saw
what
goddamn possum out there with goddamn Arnold Schwarzenegger arms. He's going to kill all of us, put us in a fucking headlock and fuck us.
And you got your God-fearing religious Glennie who wasn't having any of the shit. And she's saying there, ain't no goddamn aliens outside.
Weren't no goddamn aliens out there. Boys had got moonshine in your bag, don't you? Show me what's inside your bag. Glennie, we ain't got nothing. I'm sick of you boys making shit up trying to scare these little kids. And Lucky, he was calling them otherworldly goblins. I don't know why he would call them that. Like I think I said this 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, you did.
At this time, aliens weren't at the forefront of media. They weren't necessarily something that people knew about. So these people were encountering aliens, maybe something they'd never heard about before.
Right.
There's people out there in the world right now, in the Amazons and shit, in the jungle. They've never experienced human civilization. So when they see a helicopter, they have...
They're trying to shoot it with bow and arrow and stuff. Yeah.
Darts and stuff.
Yeah.
They start
throwing rocks at it.
And that could have been the case here where aliens weren't necessarily something these people knew about. Billy Ray, he set up at the back door with a .22 caliber rifle. And Lucky, he stayed at the front door with his shotgun. Everyone in the house is like, what the fuck is going on? You guys have carried this joke on for far too long. Get your shit together. Put the guns down. Let's finish this card game. I'm about to take your money. I'm going to take your one shoe because you're not wearing two of them. Glennie knew that her son was a pretty thick-headed guy, and once he got something stuck in his head, that he was convinced. So once the thought entered his mind that they were under attack from aliens, that's what he was sticking with at that point. So instead of talking to her son, she went back to the back door where Billy Ray was on guard with the rifle, and she cornered Billy Ray. And she asked him, she demanded to know what was outside and if this was a fucking joke or if this was serious. She demanded to know what was going on. And all Billy Ray said was, quote, Miss Glennie, I hope you don't have to find out.
Very ominous.
It's very ominous. I hope, she did find out. Everything slowed down and got quiet for a second. Everyone was in the middle of the house talking while the boys remained on guard at the front of the house and the back of the house. Then a figure about 3 feet tall appeared in the doorway of the back door out of the darkness. Glennie shrieked in horror and everyone came running to see what her and Billy Ray were dealing with. Billy Ray shot the critter right away, but it just tumbled and floated away. It wasn't hurt. His bullet went right through the screen door, struck the alien. And these were like backwoods country boys, okay? So they were good at 3 things. Drinking, shooting animals, and fucking. So whenever they weren't fucking that night and they weren't drinking that night because Miss Glennie wasn't allowing that shit in her house.
Yeah, no hard liquor, no hard alcohol.
So
sounds like beer.
They're at the peak of their hillbillyism. They could shoot anything. They were used to shooting squirrels 60, 70 feet up in the air of a tree with a rifle. Rabbits out in the field. They could hit this stuff. So to think you put an ET right in front of them with a gun, they're going to hit it 12 out of 10 times for sure.
No doubt.
So it's undoubtedly that he did hit the alien, okay? Glennie, she shrieked in horror when she saw this, and they shot it, and the critter floated away, but then Billy Ray stepped out onto the porch to see if he killed whatever he shot. When he stepped out on the front porch, he said a huge claw hand reached down and grazed the top of his head. Now, we just watched the reenactment on YouTube, and this fucking claw hand reached down and grabs him by the skull and lifts him up in the air like it's about to shove a big old thud dick right in his ear.
You see his feet kicking in the air.
And if you've not listened to our Skinwalker Ranch episode, Thud is an alien with about a 4-pound cock. And Billy Ray was about to get the thud dick.
Yeah, he was just slinging that thing.
Right. And then Aline, Lucky's sister-in-law, grabbed Billy Ray and yanked him back in the house. Lucky burst out the door, turned his back faced the door, and then looked up on the front porch, the stoop, where the alien was, and shot the alien up on the roof. It rolled off the roof and floated off into the woods. All of this shit going on, Miss Glennie had one thing she knew to do.
She had to get right with God.
She said, "Oh, Lord Jesus, we are under attack by the demons." She started praying feverishly. She was under the assumption that these beings were definitely sent from hell.
Of course.
These were hell aliens.
Of course.
They were fire goblins. They were coming to steal all of her Jesus literature. They were going to steal her Sunday dresses that she wore to church, and they were going to ruin her life.
They're just reverse Jehovah's Witnesses. We're taking all your Jesus stuff.
Yeah. All the gunshots and hooting and hollering, it woke the kids up. And one thing that pisses me off is when our fucking kids wake up from a deep sleep. You wake them up from REM sleep.
It's game over.
Ball game over. Someone is getting a fist in the ass, and not my kids because that's illegal. So it's probably going to be me.
Fist your own ass.
Excuse me, kids. Daddy's got to go to the bathroom and fist himself because you guys woke up. Do you see what happens when you wake up in the middle of the night?
You like what you're doing to me?
Yeah. You look what you make me do to myself. Who did this to Daddy?
We did.
Yay! All the adults, they took the kids into the back room, but Glennie, she stayed out near the commotion to see what the fuck was going on. Lucky and Billy began to investigate the front yard to see if they could find any more of these little shits running around. Someone from inside the house yelled at them to look into the maple tree near where they were standing at. Look up in the maple tree! We had to pipe in some sound effects there. Sitting like Toucan Sam up in the tree was another little green man. They started to empty the clip, undoubtedly hitting the alien.
They were emptying that thing.
Yeah. And for Drew Johnson, an avid gun enthusiast, I know they didn't empty the fucking clip, okay? It's a metaphor. So when he writes his fucking hate mail...
It's not a clip.
Yeah, get back to cleaning your gun.
It's a magazine, you fucking noobs.
Yeah, God, fucking these veterans and their guns. Now, after they shot the alien up in the tree, this one did the same thing. It rolled off the tree and floated off into the woods. After that one floated off, another one came from around the house. They shot this one several times, but when the bullets was striking this little fucker, it sounded like metal. Like ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, bullets hitting something that's metal.
So is it
it's a force field, man.
Possible that there was a force field on this thing, or possibly were they hitting a gutter or a random bucket that they used to take a shit in the country? I don't know.
Force field's the only reasonable explanation.
It was a goblin force field?
You never know.
Or it was a bucket full of shit. Brohio always brings you the breaking news of all the stories, all the deepest research, and you're not going to find that anywhere else that was potentially a bucket of shit.
I pray for a shit bucket, but my money's on a force field.
That's what we were so poor when I was a kid for Easter. We didn't decorate Easter eggs. We decorated our shit buckets.
You decorated your turds. we gotta go hide this turd over here.
Yay, chocolate again. I'm just kidding.
Nick, you only found 6 of the 8 nuggets. You got 2 more left.
Yeah. I can make as many as you want. I never had that problem. I'm sorry. I never decorated a shit bucket. I made that up. But after they shot this alien and it floated off into the woods, they retreated back to the house where they realized finally that, hey, we probably can't hurt these fucking guys. So they all met in the house trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. Was it an alien? A demon? A sea creature on meth? A long lost cousin?
A Bob Kitty?
Was it one of Santa's elves?
Oh, yeah.
That would be my guess. Not in August. But they did take into consideration that their arms, well, Miss Glennie, she was kind of the voice of reason throughout all this. She noticed right off the rip that these guys were coming out of the woods with their arms raised up in the air. And that was the initial meeting with these little fuckers. They had their arms raised up in the air like they were
surrendering.
Surrendering.
It's showing that they weren't going to hurt anybody.
They were looking. These were some rogue aliens that got off the path. They were just looking for some human sex.
They could have been.
Is the best thing. And they said, let's surrender to these guys. There's 11 of them in this house.
They're very submissive.
Very submissive.
Have your way with us.
Yeah, they're obviously partying in there. They're playing cards. Let's go down and see what's going on. They turned on all the lights and they huddled in the middle of the house because they noted that the bright lights seemed to discomfort the aliens and hurt their huge yellow eyes. And that's the thing about the owls.
Yeah.
I think that they don't like lights.
They're light sensitive.
Yeah, they don't like the lights.
That's why they're nocturnal.
Nocturnal. I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
Because that's a really fancy word for your delicious Nicolicious.
I love owls.
Yes. I think they're very, as far as reptiles go, they're probably my favorite.
God damn it.
Now, they huddled in the middle of the house, with all the lights on, trying to keep these fucking shit goblins away. Then all of a sudden, it gets completely silent outside to the point where you can hear a pin drop.
And when you're in the woods, you're gonna hear things constantly. You're gonna hear, the crickets. You're gonna hear the Bob Kitties sexing. You're gonna hear a lot of different stuff. So when it goes completely silent, that's gonna be very spoopy.
Something bad to happen.
Yeah,
I've heard this before. This is the sound that you hear right before you put your leg up on the pig trough and finish fucking the pig. When your balls start smacking on the pig trough, on the pig's butt. Then we're
not saying that they did that, but
No.
we're saying that's what we would have done.
That's stereotype. That's just stereotypes we're bringing to you guys right now. Then they heard some scratching and some little footsteps up on top of the roof.
Oh.
Lucky ran outside and shot at the creature on the roof. Again, undoubtedly striking the creature again. The creature was uninjured and floated off into the woods. They then determined these were some relentless little shits and they weren't going away, so they needed a game plan. When everything seemed completely calm, calm enough for them to make a break for it, they all dashed to the trucks because what the fuck else would you drive in Kentucky? A pickup truck.
Living in the woods.
So all 11 people, mind you, I hate going anywhere with my kids. Well, all three of them together? No, I'm not interested.
It's rough.
It is. But there's like the one chosen. I'm like, you can come with me. Come with me.
Right.
So they pile all 11 people into some pickup trucks and they head to the Hopkinsville PD where the front desk sergeant didn't know what to think. This was all just before midnight. He said, there's 11 people here. They got all their kids. Why is it so late? And that was a thing. That was a thought process for them, is what made them take this so serious. They said, this family is venturing out with all these kids in the middle of the night, and they're obviously distressed. They've seen something. Something has happened. So the sergeant made the decision to call the chief of police, Russell Greenwell, who took the situation very seriously. He called the Kentucky State Police and the Christian County Sheriff's Office, as well as Fort Campbell Air Force Base. They all sent personnel to the scene of the incident. Now, on the way to the house, the chief of police, Greenwell, he brought his wife with him. I think there is some writings about how along the way he was talking to his wife about how this was potentially something that he did think that happened, how this wasn't a hoax at all, because I guess 3 years before that, there was an incident where he was stopped in the middle of the road, and in that area where they're living at, there was a some type of UFO, a craft hovering above the road, and there were close to 100 witnesses that saw the object that he saw that night, just hovering, different colors, hovering above the road, hovering above where he was at, and then it darted off at a high rate of speed and just disappeared. So the idea of a craft landing or something related to a craft happening near Hopkinsville was completely convincing to him. It wasn't something that he just shrugged it off as, hey, this is some fucking people playing tricks on us. But I think they all sent about 2 personnel from each department. They had around 6 officers between the sheriff's department, the state police, and the Air Force Base. They all went to investigate. The local paper also caught on, and they showed up at the house for the investigation as well. So you have all these people trudging around on this scene. There's a lot of different things they could have did then, that they probably would do now. I think you could use a Geiger counter. You could have took samples of the soil. They didn't do any of that stuff. They just showed up and walked around with flashlights. Within an hour, all the personnel were there. When they arrived, they noticed that there was a rainbow-like sheen where the aircraft was alleged to be. Now, this was on the ground. When they got close to the sheen, or this puddle, it would disappear. But when you backed away, you could see the rainbow sheen again. And there was also a report of where one of the aliens was struck by the bullets. If you went to that location, there was like a gooey, clear substance with a rainbow color to it. And they had no fucking clue what that was. But I would have to imagine if you, dead or not, if you shoot an alien, he's going to come. Because if he was there, if he was like a kinky alien, he was into pain and he got shot and he's just like, ah!
Sadomasochist alien.
Or what does an alien sound like during ejaculation? Is that right?
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. And then he came, the alien cummed, and they found it. It was slippery. It was it was like a little snail trail up there on the top of the roof where he got shot.
Make some alien goo.
Right. So they left without incident. They didn't find any aliens. They didn't find what they were looking for.
Just some jizz.
Yeah, just some good old piles of alien jism.
So from there, they questioned everyone separately, and they ended up getting, the same story from everyone. So after a couple hours of practically no activity, the police ended up leaving.
And from my law enforcement experience, I do know that the best way to get people to fucking roll over on one another is to take them into separate areas, and you're going to get discrepancies in the story, and you're going to get, people at different places at different times. But that's not what happened here. They all had the same story. They were all chasing a pig in the woods, and they got attacked by a bob kitty.
Hey, it happens to all of us. So from here, they tried to go back to sleep. And around 3:30 a.m., from Glennie's room, she saw another one right outside of her bedroom window.
But in the book, it says she was up and down probably 3 or 4 different times before when she actually saw, she was waking up, on and off. And every single time she would look out the window and see this little fucker looking in.
Yeah, I would assume after an event like that, you're not going to be soundly sleeping.
No. And then finally, after the 3rd or 4th time, she says, am I having a dream or is this guy really out there? And she wakes up and like, holy shit, this thing is back and he's really out there.
So from there, she screams for Lucky.
Lucky!
So the creatures hung around until just about daybreak. So the days following, police and the military convened on the property for their investigation. So they're coming back up. They're checking everything out. Just make sure, it's daylight now. We're going to see if we can actually see more than what we could at
night. I guess all the people around there had heard about the incident, and there were people flocking from all over. And these people were pitching tents on the lawn. It was like fucking Woodstock, man. These people were actually walking through the house without anyone's permission. They were stealing things off the property. They were taking things without asking. And the Sutton family are like,
this shit always happens at these places.
The Suttons are like, what the these people are just walking through our fucking house. And at one point they said, all right, we're going to start charging these people to make them stop. And nobody paid any money. They just kept on trudging around, stealing everything. They were taking the knickknacks and stuff laying around. Everyone wanted a piece of this, I guess, what they thought was monumental history at this point. And they couldn't fucking get the situation under control.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
So, looking from here, old Glennie, she was pretty pretty shaken and over this whole incident at this point. She's your no nonsense person. So she decides she's going to sell the house and they're going to move into an apartment in town.
We talked during the interview to find out that she sold the farm just 2 weeks after the incident.
Yeah.
And someone like that's lived out in the country their entire life, that's the only thing they're accustomed to. And that's what they want to do. That's what they do. And for her to just 2 weeks after just say, fuck it, I can't live here anymore, is really telling of what she actually dealt with that night.
Right. And JC was so psychologically messed up. He never recovered, and he wasn't able to hold down a job or anything after that. You get your skeptics. They say that
this is my favorite theory of all.
That these were actually monkeys, and that Billy Ray and Lucky had brought them home from the carnival.
Hey, Billy Ray, you know those 2 monkeys that we drag around, the ones that'll shit their little hands and jerk off with it? I think
Bubbles. You mean Bubbles?
Yeah. I think if we take a couple of these monkeys home and say they're aliens, we can get Miss Glenny to get her really fucking scared, And then we'll bring the monkey in the house and like, hey, Miss Glenny, watch what it'll do. It'll shit in its little head, start jerking off again, and we'll play some cards and we'll get to eat some food. It'll be a really good time.
And of course, the other alternative, which we already talked about, was the great horned owls. And then you have the other people who say, these people were all hopped up on drugs or alcohol, and we've already talked about that. Glenny wasn't having the alcohol thing, and then I'm pretty sure they actually, if I remember right, I think they did do tests to see if they had been high, and that they, of course, they didn't have any type of intoxicants in their system.
Everyone checked out. Yeah,
it's pretty weird one.
So the thing that's crazy for me in this story, in terms of aliens and small men, this is the only story where these creatures look the way they do.
Yeah.
And one other thing that I've found in my research is there is some alien lore associated with Campbell Air Force Base. There's lots of cave systems throughout that area there. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have chalked it up. The locals there chalk it up to these creatures that essentially live down in the cave system that connects everything over there.
Okay.
And that what the Sutton family was dealing with that night were these little fucking butt goblins from the caves down below. And I've been to that part of Kentucky. It's a beautiful area. It's almost like a Final Frontier type thing where it's just nature and beauty, but there's a lot of caves and stuff like that. And I mean, caves are dark and unexplored in many areas. So
could just got some drunk ones that got out of there and just wanted to raise some hell with some hillbillies.
They're just running around.
They're just trying to party,
fighting and fucking.
Yeah, just living their own life,
being aliens and shit.
Who are we to judge?
Well,
let the goblins do what they want.
Yeah, and in the book also, she says a lot of people say, well, if I saw aliens like that, I'll just let them in. No, you fucking wouldn't.
Yeah, okay.
No, you wouldn't open the door and let these little fuckers come in.
Right. I'm sure that'd be the first thing you would do.
Haven't you ever seen the movie Gremlins?
Yeah.
They're terrible.
They're adorable, but
they're adorable. I would love to have one.
Yeah. Only a good one though.
So that's the end of us talking. We got the interview and then it's really over, but I'm going to fucking put something on you real quick, Rob.
Okay. Put it on me, big boy.
Animal fights.
Oh shit.
You want to try an animal fight real quick?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to do I don't know. I got to think about this for a second. I got a Siberian tiger.
Oh shit.
Big fucking orange tiger, dude.
Okay.
Versus a silverback gorilla.
Ooh. I think almost any opportunity that I have, I'm always going to pick a silverback gorilla.
Really?
Yeah.
Just for the fact that once they get your hands on you, it's game over?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that the tiger's jaws are probably stronger, but I feel like with the silverback and its opposable thumbs and its overall strength, I think the silverback gorilla probably outweighs it like double.
But you gotta think about the claws and the teeth on the fucking
That's true.
Tiger.
That's a good one.
But you're going with the silverback.
I think I'm going to go with silverback, yeah.
I'm going with the tiger. I think the speed, the agility, the quickness. You're just going to spin that gorilla until he's so fucking dizzy he falls over, and he's just going to...
It'd be a bloody fight, that'd be for sure.
Yeah. Who do you think would win, Brohio Nation?
Let us know. It's the question of the week.
Siberian Kentucky tiger? A bob kitty? Or silverback gorilla? On to the interview. Thanks for listening.
Thanks,
we love
guys.
You.
Love you.
All right. We're here with Geraldine. She's the daughter of Lucky. Geraldine, how are you?
I am doing good.
That's awesome. Thank you so much I know Sundays can be crazy for everybody. We really do appreciate you taking a few minutes for us.
It is a pleasure to have you.
Great. Yeah, like I say, any day you can talk about the green men are a good day.
We completely agree.
Absolutely.
We normally, when we reach out to people for interviews, they normally don't get back to us. You got back to us right away, and you've been so awesome thus far.
Well, yeah, I believe, if somebody takes the trouble of wanting to do an interview, you need to get back with them.
I wish
we appreciate that.
I wish Bill Murray thought like that every time we reach out to him for an interview.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Him
All right.
and Dan Aykroyd and all of them. Yeah.
We had a little bit of Dan Aykroyd in one of our episodes, and we reached out to him. We got nothing back.
Nothing at all.
Nothing back on him.
You're not going to.
Maybe, we need a lot more money.
Believe me.
So,
yeah.
All right, we've told the story. We've got the so we want to take we want to go up to the point where you were made aware of the events. Can you tell us about the day that the people came to your door to ask the questions?
Yes. It's like I've said many times, our parents kept this hid from us. The older kids knew, but they didn't talk about it. It was something that just was not talked about. And the way we found out was it was a Sunday morning. It was summertime, and I'll never forget, me and my siblings were sitting there on the living room floor watching some cartoons on the black and white TV, and there was a knock on the door. So me being the oldest, I jumped up and opened it up, and there was this man and woman standing there, and I wanted to talk to my daddy. And so my mom and dad were in the back of the house with my baby brother, and told them, said, there's somebody here to talk to you. And so walked to the front door and introduced themselves and all that good stuff. And the guy said, Mr. Sutton, we want to talk to you about the green men. Of course, we hadn't heard nothing about this, and me being me, it perked me up, and, I was like maybe 8 years old. And so my mom and dad looked at each other, and I guess they thought, well, okay. And they introduced, brought them on in and set us on the floor. And my dad sat there and told this incredible story.
Wow.
Scared me to death.
I have an 8-year-old right now, and if she heard anything about any green men at all, she would be under her bed with a pillow on her head. Just
oh yeah. I mean, from that night forward, I would go around the house, close every door with shades, curtains, everything. At night, my sister and I shared the same bedroom, and we had these what they call cafe curtains, where it had that little space between the top ruffle and the bottom. And oh my gosh, I would lay there at night in bed and look through that little space between those curtains because I was scared to death. I thought they would come back and they'd be looking in the windows at us.
Oh my God.
And so that stayed with me. And to this day, it still does. I'll wake up at night and, the scary thing about that is we just moved here to Brandenburg. We've been here almost 2 months.
Oh, no.
The house we owned before this one in Princeton, it was out in the county.
Right.
We were in the country.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking no neighbors except one up on the hill. You see nobody.
Yeah,
just forest.
My neighbors can see me through the window when I go to the bathroom where I live.
Well, here in Brandenburg we can now because we live in a subdivision, but there we did not.
Right.
And so we had skylights in our bedroom, and our bed stood under one of these skylights. So, there was many a night I would wake up and just look up towards the skylight, and you think, and we had cats back then. And sometimes you'd wake up and there'd be a cat sitting on the skylight.
Oh, my God. Jesus.
And it was kind of spooky out there. And there was a fear, could they come back? Because I have actually had ufologists come up to me and say, have you been visited yet? And I'll be like, no. And, well, they try to put in your head that since you were a part of this and it was your family and everything, there's a good chance they may come to see you.
Right.
And so on top of that, you have this fear all the time that there's going to be something coming. They're going to be looking at you through the window or they're going to try to visit you. And so, we can be traveling at nighttime and I will keep an eye on the sky, and stuff like that. When you're 8 years old and you hear a story like that, and then over the years it just builds and builds and builds, and then now it's not like it used to be. People talk about UFOs more, and
right.
It's out there more in your face, and so you have that. And I guess I'll always have a fear.
Well, that's we had an episode about Men in Black. With they were people from the government that aren't necessarily known by people to be from the government, reaching out to people to kind of silence them about certain things. Have you ever experienced anything like that where someone, you maybe not necessarily a man in black, but maybe someone you weren't really sure who they were, and they knew a little too much, and they kind of wanted to make it seem like you shouldn't keep carrying on this story?
No, not yet. I've had people come knock on my door wanting to talk about the case, or they had an experience they wanted to share, something like that. But I have not had anybody come tell me, I need to stop. It's a wonder, though, because I've learned so much since I've written that first book, that it's a wonder somebody hasn't come and said, you need to start being quiet about things.
And it's stuff like this. Anytime you put yourself out there in the public eye, you welcome, I don't want to call them that, but you welcome the crazies a little bit. And we've kind of, we were very small when we started here, and now we've got a lot of listeners, and we have a lot of crazy people that send us stuff. And
yeah. I mean, we have a festival every year at Kelly, and
is that the Little Green Men Festival?
Yeah, the Little Green Men Days Festival is every year in August. It's always the third weekend in August, and every year. Awesome. There's always somebody that will come up to my booth and talk off this story, It's like, okay, you just smile.
I sat down and my dog started talking to me. I said someone that's like, I just sat down and my dog started talking to me, and that's something.
Well, not quite like that. I'm talking about visitations and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, tell us about your dad. I know we got a little bit about from the story, but tell us about what kind of guy he was. Was he like was he happy-go-lucky, fun guy? I know he worked in the carnival and whatnot, but tell us a little bit about him.
He could be. I mean, when we were kids, it was fun because he would get up in front of us and he would, just spout off just, a bunch of stuff like what was going on in the carnival. He was the barker.
Yeah.
And, he would get in front of people and say, here is the so-and-so woman, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And, he could just da-da-da-da-da, and it was just amazing to us. He'd get up and do stuff like that. And he could be fun-loving, but he was also very serious.
Yeah.
You didn't mess with him. He was a little man, but you didn't mess with him. Very protective.
How did he handle you having boyfriends? Because I have 3 daughters, and they're very, very young.
Oh, my goodness. I can tell you tales. I will tell you, okay, I hope you got time, because I'm going to tell you this tale that I love it now. Well, back then it didn't bother me because I understood. I was this type of kid that things just did not bother me.
Right.
When you grow up with an alien story, you finally get this thick, hard shell on you, and things just don't bother you anymore. I didn't get to start dating until I was 16. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I had little boyfriends in school and all that type of thing, but as far as going out, I did not get to go out on a date till I was 16.
So you were ready to go.
Yeah. So first date. All right, we go to a movie, go out to eat. I get home. We're sitting out in the driveway saying our goodbyes. Next thing I know, here comes my daddy running out the door, baseball in hand, in his boxer shorts. Mama running out behind him in her little nightgown, screaming, Elmer, get back in here.
That's great. So,
get back in here. And I'm like sitting there just, oh my gosh, and
that's my daddy.
yeah, I think he figured it out. Needless to say, we did not stay together.
I think I'm going to be more of an Elmer kind of dad when it comes to them finally dating. I think I'm going to be a baseball bat and underwear kind of guy. But,
yeah, and to me, I just whatever, that's him. That's what he does. So
Elmer sounds like my kind of guy.
Now, I love to tell the story because I think it's so funny, But yeah, that's how it was. Very protective.
Right.
Very. Well, I was his firstborn, so he was going to be kind of,
Yeah, that's okay then.
That's growing up in the household. I mean, he was very protective, and that's just how it was. You got used to it.
Now, whenever the initial day that he set you guys down to tell you the story, beyond that, when you got a little older, did you get more information about the story from him, or I think your uncle was there as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I had two uncles and an aunt that were there.
Okay.
The oldest uncle, now he won't talk about it. He's gotten so much older and more frail, and he just doesn't get into it anymore.
Yeah.
The other two, they were younger, and they will not talk about it.
Right.
I mean, this was something that traumatized them, and they just don't.
Yeah.
As far as my dad's concerned, growing up, after those people came, you were lucky if you got him to talk about it anymore. Because you could tell when he was talking about it then that it was something that, well, he didn't want to talk about. One, it's amazing they got him to that day.
Right.
And it was something that really frightened him. I really believe that he thought the possibility was there they could come back.
Yeah.
Because you have to realize this was something they knew. 1955, what were these things? Even today, if something like that were to come up to your door or window, we wouldn't know what that was.
I mean, you had Roswell at that point, but stuff like that didn't travel. It didn't travel a lot, especially in such a rural area like that. I would think that something like that would be completely foreign to them.
Right. Well, yeah, they didn't know. I mean, these were old country folks that didn't know this type of thing. Now, my dad and Billy Ray and them, they, probably knew more than my grandmother and them because they didn't go to the movies all the time. They didn't see this stuff. Of course, in by the 50s, you were getting all these movies coming out that had to do with space and aliens and stuff, but they didn't know anything about it.
Do you remember, what was your reaction the first time that you saw the artist rendering of what was described during the extraterrestrial?
I don't know. I don't remember what I thought. This is something that scared me to death. So
right.
I tried to stay away from alien stuff. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it. If any kind of movie come out about aliens, no, I don't want to go see it. I know when the first movie Aliens come out.
No thanks.
In the 70s, my boyfriend wanted to go see it. I didn't want to go see it. He finally coaxed me into it, and I sat there the whole time just cringing and just really not wanting to see this because I don't want to see anything about aliens, especially something coming to Earth, anything like that.
Yeah, right.
Of course, these didn't, but yeah. Well, now I'll watch alien shows and movies, but back then I wouldn't.
Right. Now, this was the incident that happened to your family. That was the first thing ever. That was the first episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Is that correct?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I did read that. That was one of the first things ever featured on
Unsolved Mysteries, really?
Yeah, I think I did read that.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but I think
I'll have to find out.
I think I did read that.
Well, it's been on so much. I mean,
Yeah. Do you get a lot of requests for interviews?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do. Podcasts and all that stuff.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I get requests to go places.
Yeah. So you stay pretty busy with the Little Green Men.
Well, sort of. It comes in spurts.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like for a while it'll just be really quiet, and all of a sudden it'll be like bam, bam, bam.
Right.
So, you know, it just depends. Maybe it's the time of year or what's going on.
Yeah. And another one of our favorite characters from the story is Miss Glennie. Now,
oh yes.
How can you reflect on what Miss Glennie was like?
Well, when this happened, she was like 50 years old.
Yeah.
Of course, she was widowed. Had those 3 smaller kids, plus the bigger kids, and she's a very religious lady. I know her and my dad didn't talk for years when I was little because she didn't like. She didn't like it because he drank. Well, that was just part of living. A lot of people drank back then.
These damn moms.
Yeah, and but very, like I said, very religious, very strong woman when it comes to that.
Right.
The night this happened, she was trying to get them to quit shooting at them because she thought maybe they needed help. What were they? They might just go away if you just leave them alone.
Yeah, she was the voice of reason.
She didn't want to see them hurt or her family hurt. So, she was trying to get them to stop. But, yes, very strong woman.
Yeah. Now, do you think that now you said you have a son, right? And I think he's in his early 30s. I think I read that correctly. Is he interested in this story at all, or?
Yes.
So I
told him. I said, him being the last one, it seems like nobody else is going to take it over. I says, when I die, you have to keep this going, right? He says, I can do it. Yeah, he actually did his senior paper in high school on the story.
That's awesome. Did you have any problems in high school over this story? Were you ever kind of ridiculed?
I didn't talk about this story in high school.
Oh, really?
I kept this quiet.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't want to talk about this. It scared me to death.
Yeah.
My boyfriend knew it. Of course, my boyfriend, we dated all through high school and got married 2 years after we graduated. So he was my high school sweetheart. He knew the story.
Yeah.
But as far as going out and just announcing it to everybody that this happened to my family, no, I did not do that.
Right.
Because I was still in that phase where it scared me. It scared me going out at night.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I just didn't talk about this. Didn't want to talk about it.
Right. Now, in terms of, I know a few years after the incident happened, your dad took you and the kids to the actual scene of the incident. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Now, can you tell us?
It was actually the weekend after the visit from the man and woman.
Okay. Do you remember that day that he took you to the scene?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Well, the following weekend, after the man and woman came and visited, and we heard the story, he decided, well, I need to take y'all to Kelly and let you see where all this happened. So, okay, we'll go for this. So he loaded us up in the car and we went down to Kelly, and the house was still standing there.
Yeah.
But it was all in, it was in shambles. And took us back in the field and showed us the spot where it landed. And sure enough, now this was 55 when it happened. This was about 69 when the people came.
Right.
So several years later.
Yeah.
So he takes us back there, and sure enough, back there in the field was this perfectly round circle on the ground where no grass was growing.
And that was the spot where Billy Ray said he saw it, right?
Well, he's seen it going across the sky. They never did see where it landed.
Okay, but in my mind, it definitely landed somewhere.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Back there. Yeah, away from the house.
Now we kind of we're reading through the research and whatnot, some people are conflicted. They call it goblins, and some people call it aliens. In my heart of hearts, I definitely feel this is an extraterrestrial experience. Do you feel like you don't feel like this is something besides aliens? Do you?
No, I don't now.
Yeah.
Goblins was a thing that they didn't know what to call them.
Right.
At first, they thought, my grandmother being religious like she was, the first thought was, well, this is something the devil has brought forth,
Yes.
And they were goblins, and that's what they called them for a while. And then, with all the evidence that was coming forward, like people hearing things at night, seeing the lights, everything that was going on, it was finally decided that these are aliens. This was something from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Another planet somewhere. They weren't from here. And so, now they are, aliens.
And the day after the actual incident happened, I think I read that the military and the police kind of came onto the property. And I don't know if I read this or if I heard you say this, that someone found something and they kind of rushed it to a truck, something that nobody...
Yes. Well, I actually wrote that in the second book because this is stuff I found out after the first book.
Okay.
But yeah, the military came, they did their shoulder-to-shoulder search where they go over the grounds with a fine-tooth comb, and something was found. Nobody ever did see what it was. It was rushed off it was hidden and rushed off to the truck and put in a truck, and the truck took off. Now what it was, we'll never know.
Yeah.
So
now we're very close to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base where we're at, and there's a lot of UFO lore associated with that. So
yes,
it wouldn't be crazy to think that they possibly had their hand in something like that whenever this happened. Now I know Fort Campbell is close. Is there a lot of UFO happenings that are associated with Fort Campbell?
Not that we know of.
Okay.
I think Fort Campbell being right there, I think it's put off. A lot of people put it off when they do see things. Well, Fort Campbell's down the road. They're doing testing, and I think that's why a lot of people ignore things around there these days because there's a lot of stuff that goes on around there. And when we lived out in the county there in Princeton, which is just maybe 40 minutes from Fort Campbell, we've seen stuff. Right. I mean, a lot of people around Princeton, out in the county especially, have seen stuff that they can't explain and have told me about.
Yeah.
It's weird. So, but a lot of people they'll say, well, it's just Fort Campbell doing testing. They're doing something. So they just let it go. They don't want to think that it could be something else.
Right. What's the, I don't know, what's the biggest false things that you hear about the story, I guess, misconstrued truths that you've heard over the years that you always correct people about?
Well, see, this is one reason I wrote the books. Back in 2005, they had a 50-year, it was like a little convention there in Hopkinsville. It was like 4 days long, and they asked me to be a part of that. So, okay, it's the first time I ever got involved in this, and I thought, okay, I'll try this out, see how it works. And I found out that there was a lot of stuff that wasn't right. I heard the story. I knew it.
Yeah.
You had the first-hand knowledge of it.
Yeah, and so, there was stuff like there were 12 aliens, and my dad said no, there was just 3 or 4. It was the same ones that kept coming back he was positive of.
Yeah.
His name would be wrong. I don't know where they got the name sometime that they would call him. No, it was, what was it? Something with a C. Anyway, it wasn't him. And Billy Ray is supposed to have got abducted. And
have you ever met? Have you met Billy Ray?
Oh no! Once this happened, they just didn't come back to Kentucky, as far as I knew.
Right.
It upset June so bad that she said she never wanted to step foot in Kentucky again.
Oh, wow!
I have tried to find Billy Ray when I first started writing the books. I was tried and can't find him. Other people have tried to find him, can't find him.
Now we also learn about OP. What's OP's name?
O.P. Baker. He was my Aunt Eileen's brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, of course he's passed away. He was he was older.
Yeah, and I think
he was in his 30s. But
I think I read your dad. He passed in 1995. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, did he open up about the story more to you later on in life, or is it pretty much?
Oh no. No. Right before he did pass away, there were people from Germany trying to get a hold of him. They were wanting the story, and they were actually wanting to pay for him to come to Germany.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He says it's been quiet. Nobody's been bothering him about it. He didn't want nothing more to do with it.
It honestly sounds like the one thing about, for me, when people try and fake stuff like this, it's more of a money thing. And this was not a money thing at all. They completely shut off to the world, which makes me believe it wholeheartedly more so than if they were trying to do it for money.
Another thing, too, my grandmother sold the farm in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's couldn't
terrifying.
Stay out there no more.
They wanted to get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was scared. Well, once my dad and Billy Ray left to go back to work, she was left there with her 3 kids.
Yeah.
And my uncle JC, and she was afraid. She didn't know if they were to come back, could they handle it? What would they do? Because, they didn't know what they were there in the first place for. So if they didn't get what they wanted the first time, would they come back a second time? That was a fear. Yeah. And my mom, she lived there in Kelly also with their first 7. And she says it was a fear. It was scary to think that they could possibly come back.
I bet.
And what would they come back for?
To get shot.
To get shots for you.
Well, yeah, they get shot if they came around there. But, the thought was in, I think, everybody's mind that, okay, they were there for a reason in the first place. So what was the reason?
Right.
I think...
now, a lot of things I've been told that at the time, Fort Campbell was a hold for nuclear stuff.
Okay, yeah. And they're always, when we read about things, it's always aliens are, for one of their main reasons on Earth, are associated with our nuclear power and nuclear capabilities.
Right. So, did they just land at the wrong place?
Yeah, wrong place,
get off a few miles down the road, or what? We just don't know.
That's great. Well, Geraldine, we appreciate you doing this interview with us. I think that's all. That's all the questions we have. Why don't you tell people about the best way to reach you, and tell them the name of your 2 books? I downloaded the first one and I read that one. I haven't got to the second one yet.
Okay,
I will, but tell them.
Well, you can go on my website. It's called alienlegacy1955.com. You can order the books there and read little stuff on there.
Yeah.
And that's the best place to go, actually.
Okay.
And on there, you'll find all my information if you want to contact me.
Right.
But yeah, that's the best place to go. It's alienlegacy1955.com.
All right, Geraldine. Well, we appreciate you. We hope you have a great Sunday.
Thank you.
I have enjoyed.
Well, if you need anything more, just give me a holler. I'll be glad to help.
I've enjoyed listening to your Southern twang. You have a beautiful voice.
Well, thank you.
And I'm going to take a guess here. I'm going to say that you're probably a really good cook too. Is my guess?
Yeah, my husband says I am. My father-in-law does too. So,
right. Well, forever in the neighborhood, we're gonna order up some gravy and biscuits and see what's going on.
Oh well, yeah, I can definitely do that. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
She was just delightful.
Lovely woman.
She was wonderful. Thank you, Geraldine, for the interview.
Thank you very much.
And thank you guys for sticking around to listen to the interview. We will catch you on the next episode.
See you.